Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pop Off the Clock Book Club Edition. We are in our April book, and we just finished it. We're so excited to talk about it.
Yes, this month's or April's month's book was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And let me just tell you, it did not disappoint.
No.
It's become a TikTok favorite, and that's kind of the reason. Well, main reason is a lot of attention around it.
Yes.
TikTok was really pushing it, and it's being adapted into a movie or series. Not sure yet.
I think it should be a series.
I think so too.
Yeah, a movie wouldn't do it justice.
Each husband would be an episode.
Yeah. Yes.
I
yes.
think it was. Okay, it was so popular, but I kind of knew what it was about. I just thought it's like an interview. I did not.
I did not expect what actually is this. Let me really quickly read the synopsis or summary for you guys. Reclusive Hollywood icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine writer Monique Grant to write her story, no one is more astonished than Monique herself. Determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career, Monique listens in fascination from making her way to Los Angeles in the 1950s to leaving showbiz in the 80s. And of course, the seven husbands along the way. Evelyn unspools a tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and great forbidden love. But as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in a tragic and irreversible way.
Mm-hmm.
What a good book. Yeah, I thought, we're going to learn about the men she married, all about them, the film industry, all these things. And it isn't even about the men, which I absolutely loved. Or it is about them, but in an indirect way.
So I actually thought, because I knew a lot of things that people, making their suggestions for casting, and I knew Celia was going to be important,
yeah.
but I didn't know
how important
she was. I'm like, what? Okay, so overall,
first off, we have to rate the book. So I'm going to ask you first, Yoseline, what do you rate The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo?
I want to give it like a 8.9.
Okay, we're doing 1 through 10. 8.9.
Oh, well, did we do 10? 5?
I have no idea what
I don't
we've
remember.
done. I think we've done 5.
5? Okay, so like
1 through 5. What do you?
Okay, see, as a 5, I want to give it like a 4.3.
I think I want to give it like a 4.9.
Mm-hmm.
It's like almost there to a 5. For me.
Like it's a good book. It takes it takes you through so much of someone's life. Like we follow this actress, Evelyn Hugo, from her teenage years, kind of like 16-ish, up to until she's like a good 70-something. So
you're seeing the evolution of her career, how she gets into her career,
how she makes it, like how she continues to be a film star, keeps her career alive.
How that kind of the downfall of it, and then the revitalization of it, and up until the day that she dies.
Yes,
quite literally. Well, kind of, yeah.
And it's just like, if you really think about it, like she had control of her life this whole.
Absolutely.
Like she made things happen for herself, and which kind of I feel like we should.
She wasn't a victim of circumstance.
Absolutely, she never let that happen.
Absolutely.
So I will tell. Let's start with the first questions, because I think it's the perfect lead-in. Your first impression of Evelyn, like towards the beginning of knowing her, and then by the end, what was it?
So at first, I was very intrigued by her because she is very ruthless. She was very ruthless, in my opinion, because of the way that she got her job. She was like, I'm going to marry this man because he is going to drive me to Hollywood. I'm going to let this other man perform, etc. on me so that I could get my foot in the door. Like, I'm like, you're ruthless. You don't give a shit about what people say about how you got to that point. And at the end, I just think that, I don't know, I guess because of the situation in the end with the whole accident and how she handled it, I'm just kind of left with I don't know, she just did what she did, and then, I don't know.
At first, my first impression, I think, it kind of stayed the same. She had to do what she had to do to get what she needed to get. the only transition was in the beginning, her actions were giving her a career and something that was self-made for herself, you know. Towards the end, she was making the same decisions, but it was to protect what she now loved.
Yeah.
It's like she loved herself and she only cared about, and she did what she needed to do to succeed because it was survival mode for her. And I think she continued to carry that throughout, though. However, whoever she did it for changed during her chapters in life. You know, towards the end, it was when she was in that foursome thing, it was, she did what she needed to do to protect everyone that was her family. When she became a mother, it was to protect her kid. When it was Harry, she did because Harry was who her priority was at that time. So I think she evolved, but she continued to keep she's very
unwavering of who she is and what she does. And I think I like that she took ownership of the fact that, she made a mistake, but that's just who she is.
And she'd do it again, she said.
Yeah, exactly. I think she's a very strong character, very strong woman. And I think that she was just a very intriguing character, and I can't wait to see it be developed, or see if that whoever's going to be her can carry that same energy.
Yeah, it's intense.
It's a powerful character.
It really is. So going back to kind of the beginning of the book, where we see that this reporter is brought in by Evelyn Hugo to be introduced and gives her that offer of like, here, you're going to write my book, my life story. When I'm dead, publish it, you become a millionaire. This is a struggling journalist who is going to basically bite the hand that feeds her to steal this exclusive. So what would you do in Monique's situation? Would you take up Evelyn's offer, or would you stay loyal to your employer? What did you think of Monique's decision? What does it say about her as a character?
I think she played it very well. I mean, hell yeah, I would take the job. I would take it in an instant. But, with celebrities, you never know how it's going to play out, because they could be very fickle sometimes. Like, they'll be on board with everything and then they'll change their mind the next second. So I think it was smart of her to keep her job. I was, at one point, I'm like, how the hell is she going to do it? How is she going to keep it? But she took a little bit of Evelyn into her own life and was like, you know what? I am going to see, what am I have to lose if I just say what I need to say and do what I need to do? She ended up getting what she wanted. Yeah. But if she lost that opportunity, she still had this other one.
I think she was smart in not just like diving head first and like taking Evelyn's offer, because for all you know, Evelyn's story is going to be boring. You're like, no one's going to buy this book, like who cares? And she didn't lose out her job. I think I would have played it the same way, where it's just like, I want to take this project and write this book about this woman who's allowing me, but I'm not going to put my employer at risk, who like is the reason I have access to her, right? So it was like, either do a cover story on Evelyn for my job, but I don't think I would have been like, I would have been how she is. I wouldn't have been 100% loyal to my employer. Hi, employer. I think it's for, again, the Evelyn thing, mantra, like, you got to do what you got to do to get it done.
Evelyn came into her life at the right time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even though like obviously her reaction to what the revelation was warranted, but I feel like if she would have been stuck in the same place in her life if she wouldn't have had somebody like that inspire her in a way.
And I guess that goes to this question. What do you think about Monique? Did you get a real sense of who she was as a character? And I don't think
they really dove into who Monique was.
Because we don't know why she's getting a divorce. And the revelation at the end about her father's connection to Evelyn Hugo.
It was
so fast. I think if we would have learned a little bit more about Monique's, whether it was her connection to her father or how the lack of having a father growing up impacted her, then the whole revelation at the end, I think, would have been more of a full circle.
So when she reacted to her dad, I was like, is that even a big deal to you? Like, because you don't you rarely hear her talk about him. It's just like, oh yeah, my dad wasn't really in my life.
Because he died at a young age.
Like, that doesn't scream to me this reaction to, I can't believe you killed or put our family in this position. How dare you? I don't even want to the reaction was warranted, but no one understood because we didn't understand who
her relationship with how much the death of her father excuse me, impacted her. Like, do you really even care? Or even if it was more insight of how she viewed, maybe if she viewed how her father and mother's relationship was impacting her current divorce, then I'd be like, the whole revelation of her father having an affair with Harry, it's like, oh, okay, well, her finding out her father was gay and Evelyn's fake husband who was gay was dating him and he died in a car accident, Evelyn made it seem like it was his own fault, I would have been like, yeah, like, heck yes, like, this revelation impacted how you always viewed your parents, because not only does it bring into question, you were raised without a father, he was because of they switched his body in the car seat, made it seem that he was the one driving, so that took away his reputation, tainted his reputation, and now it's dispelling how you viewed your parents' relationship, because was he gay, was he like, did he love your mother? That's a whole nother thing, and I think that we didn't really go in either of those routes where, and
even the mom said at the end, like, we had a great loving relationship, but I even think she said the sex was never really there.
It was never about passion.
Yeah, it was
like,
never about passion. It was about just partnership, exactly. And when you find out, that moment you find out that it is her dad, you're not like, oh my god, it's Monique's dad, who she's been saying like all this time. It's you're just like, who?
Yeah,
she has a dad.
I was just like, oh snap. I'm like, does the age even add up? But yeah, it did. Going into that, one of the big twists about it is, let me ask you this one first. Hold on. Which husband did you enjoy reading about the most? Do you think Evelyn loved all of them? Which husband made her the happiest?
I mean, I love Harry Cameron. He is obviously everyone's favorite husband because he was who she needed to live her life. Because Harry was the producer that she met at a young age as she was coming up. He had been there when she lost her job with Sunset Studios, when she revamped everything, when she met Celia. Like, they were able to live their own lives, and it all worked out for them. Like, it's unfortunate that she had to hide. And I don't know. I don't know. He was obviously the best husband.
I think so too. I think that was her rock throughout her whole life, and it was her first sense of family, and they just knew that it was like you and me, true blue, like they knew, because I think it's a different level. They were like soulmates, where Celia was the love of her life and John was the love of his life, but they knew that I could count on you. Yeah. We're gonna raise a kid together, even though we're not romantically linked. But I love you as, like, you're my only family. And
absolutely,
he could have betrayed her any moment. Like, the moment she was dropped from the studio, he could have been like, I can't be seen with her. I can't be seen with her. My career, this. But he was so faithful, even till like the end, where
I think I teared up when he died because
I was crying because, for her, that's her family. Like, that is her everything. Like, the fact that she wouldn't make a decision about moving to Europe to be with Celia unless he was on board. Yeah. Even though here she is like, Celia is the love of my life. I'm like, I know, it was so sad because, like, well, I feel like maybe that was the love of her life too, Harry. Yeah. Because here she was fighting all these years to be with Celia. And the moment she gets it, she's like, well, I'm not going to go forward unless Harry is with me.
Yes.
So that says a lot. Like,
do you think he would have... So if he would have lived, and he obviously... Monique's dad told him to go because he needed to stay with the family. They wouldn't have died. Do you think Harry would have gone with them, or he would have stayed?
I think he would have gone because even though I think he would have gone because that letter very much seemed like it was a break. Like, Even though all of Harry's relationships with men were secret, it was a secret, but they were still together. Like, these other men didn't have families, right? So when he had a boyfriend, they were in a full-on relationship. They just weren't public about it. Where this is, not only are you a secret, you're a married man, and he already told you he's not going to leave his family even for anything. So that's, I think he wouldn't have accepted him being like,
he would have gone with them because he couldn't have stayed there and dealt with it.
Yeah, I don't think he would have. But
because even though he was like, oh, you know, I have everything here, it was just you know, his new love, because he said that this was the first love he was able to move on from
after John.
I
don't remember his name, but
last name Braverman,
something like that. So that's something. So I mean, we kind of been talking about it, but the whole revelation of how Celia, the Evelyn, and them discovering that they're like in love with each other.
I feel like that's one of the greatest love stories. It's a great love story that they had.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but it's also like toxic as fuck. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, what? Okay. Stepping, like, these are two women that who fell in love with each other. They're best friends. They fall in love with each other. They have to keep it a secret because in that era it was considered
like it's between the 1950s and 80s. So like,
it's considered like you were sent to the asylum kind of thing.
Even the Stonewall riots happened as they were together. So that was a major moment for the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, so they're in love. They're trying to hide it. They're both like rising stars, actresses that have to play along as best friends in the public and lovers in the back. And they break up so many times throughout their life but they somehow reconnect. At some point, it's like, this is so toxic, you know, like, I also don't get how Celia, like, I don't think Evelyn was ever that bad of a girlfriend to her. The fact that she got mad over that sex scene in the movie she did with her ex-husband.
Yeah.
Like, but she's an actress at the end of the day. Like, it's not real. I understand it's like disrespectful maybe not to like discuss it together because we are in a partnership.
I think she should have told her prior.
She should have. I think it's more of a courtesy conversation out of you dictate what I do with my life because it's my career, it's my art. You and are an actress too. You should know what's going on. You know it's not real. So but that
just kind of just shows the distinction between who Celia was as an actress and who Evelyn was as an actress. And she even pointed it out. Me acting was selling my sex appeal for as long as I could. Celia is a serious actress. Like, she will always get roles for the rest of her life because she'll be in every drama till the dawn of time. Yeah. Whereas, you know, Evelyn is more of a Marilyn Monroe, whereas Celia is more of an Audrey Hepburn.
Yes. Wait, let's go back to the other topic. Do you think Evelyn loved all of them, all of her husbands?
I think she loved them in a way, but they just all fulfilled a
thing. I think
Well, when you think about it, it was first Don Adler, which she said that she loved.
It was the guy that brought her.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think she really loved him at all.
She used him. Yeah. Don Adler was
the second one, right?
The second one, which she loved him, but he
sucked.
He abused her physically, like beat her up, which I think brought her back to her, you know, her dad. Who was her third husband?
The third
was it Mick?
I honestly forgot.
Yeah, I think it was Mick Rivas, right?
I have no idea. Oh,
it was.
I
think it was Mick, the one day marriage in Vegas, which it was just she just used them.
Right, it was for what reason though? I forgot.
Because the rumors of her and Celia were kind of coming up.
That's right. Shoot, I remember they say they go through all her husbands in the beginning. They just name them all really quickly. I remember she was marrying the director at one point.
Oh, the last one?
No, the last one was Celia's brother. Remember?
Oh, second to last. Sorry.
Yeah, the second to
that
last.
French director. That French director did not know her. Like, he just somehow convinced her, and he was just infatuated by her. She married that. She married. I'm missing like two people.
I'm like trying to find the exact moment. I don't see every name here. said marriages including, it was Harry Cameron, which we already just said. Okay, no, I guess they didn't go through. Each chapter isn't the husband each, right?
Each, like, chunk. Like, big.
So it's Ernie Diaz, and it says poor.
That's the first one.
Goddamn Dawn Adler.
That's the abusive actor that ruined her career after she...
And I know in the book, so this book actually also has a book clip questions. It said, what do you think about how each name associated with a specific word? Like, goddamn, Dawn Adler, poor.
Yeah.
There we go. Like,
I got it. Dawn Adler was the actor that abused her. Mick Riva was the rock star that they only married for in Las Vegas just to
dispel the rumors that
she was too close to Celia. Rex North.
There you go.
It's her co-star where he did his own thing and she did his own thing just so people would watch the movie.
That's right. And then after that, she married Harry.
No, it was agreeable. Was it him? Who's agreeable? Robert Jameson.
Robert Jameson.
He must be after Harry.
Oh.
That's the thing too, like...
Robert Jameson, I think, is the brother.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. It is true. Ernie Diaz, Max and Harry. Yeah, it is. So then we have Harry Cameron. I mean, these were also, like, long marriages. Like, Rex North was, like...
Oh, like Rex was one of a long one because they had several movies assigned with each other.
It was when she was making her comeback.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Harry Cameron, of course. That was her best friend. She ended up marrying
Max Gerard,
which was the French director that was just, like, infatuated by her. I think she fell in love with Don, and then he became a monster. I think she loved Rex for what he provided her.
I think she kind of might have liked Max Gerard, but she knew that he was just infatuated with her stardom and not really her. Yeah,
because she, like, divorced Harry for him. And that's basically, like...
And, yeah, that's it. I loved how it ended... where the whole Vivint article
oh yes,
my favorite thing. So apparently it just kind of shows an excerpt of Monique's questions with Evelyn. It says, I said, doesn't it bother you that your husbands have become such a headline story, so often mentioned, that they have nearly eclipsed your work and yourself, that all everyone talks about when they talk about you are the 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo? And her answer was quintessentially Evelyn, no, because they are just husbands. I am Evelyn Hugo, and anyway, I think once people know the truth, they will be much more interested in my wife.
Yeah. So that's just, like, so it for it. Like, if I read that in a magazine cover, I'd be like, I need to buy the book.
I would bawl, honestly.
I know. So another question I think is very important. Oh, we kind of didn't answer the whole like
our favorite husband. Well,
my favorite husband is Harry Cameron.
Yeah.
Do you think she loved them all? I think she loved
Dawn.
I think she legitimately fell in love with Dawn as, like, a woman, as a romantic relationship. I think Rex, it was just, like, this love of appreciation. Harry, it was a love of, like, family. And then
I think she did like Max Gerard, but
she saw potential in him. But everyone else, I think it was just to benefit her, what she needed to do and get done at that time.
They're just her
so
beards.
The revelation of Celia being turning a friend into a lover, like, was that a shock when that happened, or what was your reaction?
I was shocked. I was not expecting this to turn into a like a story about her and her wife. I just thought it was so, like, well played. Like, it just kind of came out of left field. You're just like, where?
I kind of saw it coming because Celia's character was so in the book, like, as in someone that was breaking down barriers with her. Like, she's like, wow, it's the first time I kind of want to have a friend, and I'm happy for her, and I don't want to, like, destroy or feel threatened by her career.
I totally felt that when she first obviously started the Little Women with her. Like, it wasn't like, I hate this woman. It's like, I'm fascinated and infatuated with this woman. I knew that there was something going to go on between them, but I never realized to the extent that it was gonna be.
Yeah.
That they were gonna be longtime lovers.
Yeah. So one part of their prime of that relationship is that when Evelyn marries Harry and Celia marries John and Harry are the real couple, and Celia and Evelyn, it was like a good 11 years where they, continue with this facade. Do you think that arrangement was fair for everyone? Do you think that apparent difficulties were represented well in the book?
I think that was the perfect situation they could have had, which is why Harry's my favorite, because she was able to actually be herself, because she was able to be in a true relationship, and he gave her that opportunity. I think it got really dicey, obviously, when it came time for them to have their child. It was kind of like, how are we going to work this out? But they were able to figure it out. I feel like Celia wasn't fully invested in the child. It didn't even because obviously going into it, she was very hesitant. I feel like they never really told us whether she loved Connor or not.
Which I don't think so.
Because you don't think that Celia liked Connor?
No, because you're telling me that. So, they have this arrangement, 4 of them. It gets to the point where Evelyn and Harry have always wanted to have a kid. They decide to have it together. She's pregnant, and she's about to give birth, and Celia shoots a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you never grew attached to the child during the pregnancy because it's weird, and she very much saw it as babysitting. It's like she wasn't involved in after the child. I just think she saw it very much of
and to think about it now, they never really had a connection, because by the time Evelyn moves with Celia to Europe, Connor's already in college and leaving that, so they never really had any sort of relationship with each other.
Connor had more of a relationship with Celia's brother that was pretending to be the father at that, or the husband at that time. So I think honestly, Celia had her internal demons too, where she had a problem that Evelyn was bisexual. So if she was bisexual, that meant that there was a chance of her going with a man, and she just could not handle the fact that Evelyn could possibly be with a man or had that heterosexual part of her, I think, and having a daughter is part of that, and I think that's why there was that lack of connection between the daughter and Celia. But aside from that, I don't really think anything else popped up.
Now that I think about just the relationship dynamics, and Connor didn't even really know Celia. She was like, oh yeah, she was that woman
when
that
she was a little older. She's like, who's that? She recognized her from a movie, not even the fact that she was in her life for a couple.
I think it's just so funny that when Evelyn tells her we've been together forever, I love her, she's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, teenagers don't care.
Are we not gonna
I've been like, oh, okay, that's cool, mom. She probably knew. She probably her dad and her mom. Her dad was out and about. It, whatever. Unfortunately, Harry and John dies, and that kind of brings back Harry with Evelyn, and that was super sad for him.
It was super sad.
I think that foursome relationship did work because they were each giving each other something. Their arrangement allowed them to be somewhat as true as he could be in those times. But I think it was a fair trade.
Yeah.
A difficult one, but a fair trade. Now, what do you think of Evelyn? Oh, wait, I skipped on. I'm sorry. What do you think of Evelyn's view on beauty?
Remind me again.
So, in my idea, or my understanding was, she was very aware of how much she was using it to get what she needed, but she was also fully aware that this beauty was gonna
not last forever.
So, and that's kind of where the whole...
I think she's very... I don't even think this is the right word. She's very honest about who she is and what her image
gave her
and
took away from her. I think it was a double-edged sword because did it give her everything, but it wasn't gonna last. So she needed to capitalize. As long as she was beautiful, she needed to do what she needed to do. And And Celia really, I feel like Celia was really cruel when that came. Like, she very much saw her as a pretty face.
Oh, yeah. She would even make comments where it's like, you are playing to how other men see her and then getting offended when she's using that. Like, you have the same reactions to her body that you make same comments that a man would make about her body. And you're being judgmental of the fact.
And it's so interesting, the part where Evelyn Hugo gives birth and she's offered a movie where she was going to star next to her ex-husband. But Celia, in some way, was so fascinated with her, like, I don't want you to change now that you're a mother because it just brings up stuff that I was willing to be okay with you being in a movie with your ex-husband. You know what I mean? Like, Celia's desire for Evelyn not to be maternal or not to change or be a different person after giving a child.
Yeah, like, you're going to go back to your day job. You're going to continue to be this sex pot actress.
Like, I need you to do that, and I'm willing to overlook that you're about to star with your ex-husband that hit you.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was very toxic.
I feel like Celia was never really honest with who she was. I feel like Evelyn was more honest with it and was doing everything she can to continue to be honest in her personal life about who she was, whereas Celia was just never satisfied.
I don't think she was ever. She never accepted Evelyn's sexuality. I think so. I think it goes both ways, though. What you said, like, she was never honest that it bothered her, and she never was accepting that Evelyn was interested in both women, and men, and that bothered her a lot. It did bother her.
And she played a huge role as to why they weren't together.
Oh, yes. Era berrinche.
Yeah.
But I also think of, like, how much is someone your love of your life, but you keep, like, breaking up and seeing each other every 10 years. Like, that is so toxic.
Just, like, be together and look past your differences.
What needs to be done. Yeah, that was something that was.
Because then, like, you know, and that's why I think this story was beautiful, because it kind of just shows that you don't have the rest of your life, so take advantage of what you can while you can, whether it's, you know, using your beauty for as long as you can, or, I don't know, taking advantage of a situation that makes you happy and not messing that up.
I think it also dives into the different types of love that you go through during your life. And as I think I brought it up in the day with you, where, you know, I always thought of, like, oh, you just get one true love. Like, once you're not that you can't get a divorce, but like, you only have one love of your life. And I think it highlights the different levels of love that there is. Yeah. Because what about the love that Harry provided for her, the love that Dawn at the beginning, and the love that Celia gave her, the love that her daughter gave her, and the strength that gave her. Like, like you said, there's different levels to love, and people are gonna, you know, that whole saying, seasons, but there are certain love, you know, so I think this book was interesting. Even Monique's parents' love, you know, like, that's so interesting. Like,
and her divorce, her relationship.
Why were they getting a divorce?
I'm throwing this question out there. Do you think the setting of the 50s and exploring this relationship was intentional to kind of just show a different story in a different setting, and how the outside dynamics impacted it?
Absolutely, because not only did it start in the 50s, but it kind of showed the decades of this type of love. I mean, just in itself, the decades and the way society viewed, you know, same-sex relationships, like, they couldn't, like, no way, you can never be public. Like, not only that, but you're famous and you're a star and you want to be famous and rich. No, heck no, they're not going to let you. And I mean, it even leads up, you even see, like, somewhat of a hope in their eye until the end. The end. And
I think it's interesting, because I feel like it's even a story that could play out today. I'm going to throw this example out there, and I threw it out in our episode prior to this. Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss, like, they give total Evelyn Hugo, Celia St. James vibes.
Yeah, with the rumors that surround them.
That they are in love, and that they just are with different partners to keep up this image. Like, I mean, the thing is with women, people just want to put them in a box forever, and they can only just be one thing. If you're going to be a lesbian, and that's how it was with Celia. If you're going to be a lesbian, you're going to be a lesbian. Like if you're straight, you're straight. You can't be both things, especially a public figure.
I also think of how, like, I mean, there's obviously people that probably went through that in the 50s, and how hard it must have been to, you know, because even Evelyn Hugo said that during her time, they're like, the term being bisexual was so new.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where Celia kind of questioned it. Like, no, you're either straight or gay. Like, no in between. So I could only imagine when, you know, whether you're going through anything and there's just no label. I won't even say label, but some kind of word to define it, it's even more difficult to understand yourself. So you can't even really expect,
like when you can't define what you are, it's like, how is anybody else going to understand? But
and I think it comes to preference of label. Like, some people don't like labels, but other people do.
Yeah. And it's interesting because in the book, remember how Monique asks her, how do you want me to label you? Bisexual. She's like, I don't really have a name. Like, I don't really name myself anything.
And I just know I loved men, and I have loved men, and I have loved women.
And I think it's interesting because in the final part of the book where it's the Vivint article, she comes out as bisexual. So I'm like, was she okay with you calling her bisexual because she didn't want to name herself? But obviously that's what she is.
Another question for you: what did you think of Evelyn and Connor's relationship? How did Connor's death impact Evelyn's decision to tell the world her story? I really don't think so. I think Connor's death alone didn't impact it. I think everything that in her life has led up to her to come out with her.
She had I mean, all her ex-husbands are dead. The loves of her life are gone. Like, it's kind of just like
her daughters.
Let's just wrap a bow on it and call it a day.
And also her relationship with Connor, I think it just introduced a new type of love that she probably never got because she came from an abusive home, and she had never, like, I think a mother's love and parent's love is literally unconditional. You know, every other love has conditions.
Yeah.
You can't cheat on me. You can't hit me. That's a condition. So a mother's love is so unconditional to a child that I think it's the first time she felt that. So, and it became the first time, even her and Harry, like, we'll do everything, it only if it benefits Connor.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that introduced a new side of her.
Should have been called the multiple loves of Evelyn Hugo.
I know, the different layers of love. Yeah, it was just so interesting. But I don't really think necessarily her daughter's death impacted her to tell the world. I think it's just the exhaustion from her life that is like, let me tell my story.
Yeah.
And let me just, like, not even deal with the reaction, because I'm going to be dead.
So here's another question. So at the end, obviously, Monique gets the sense that Evelyn is going to commit suicide and is grappling whether to stop her or let her be. What would you have done?
You know, I totally thought about this.
Yeah.
While I was reading it, where it's just like, because it's interesting. Monique, an interesting thing about Monique is that she had just written an expose about assisted suicide. And
oh my God, I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah, so that's why she made the connection, that she had written that article and she kind of knew the decency people wanted to do, you know, and I think I would have been okay with letting her do it. Yeah. Because her reasonings were not like, I hate myself, like some depression, some like internal mental health issues that, you know, people suffer with every day. It's not like that, and unbalancing your body that makes you, you know, suicidal. It wasn't that. It was just, she had cancer, late stage. Yeah, like she was ready to die, and she had settled everything she needed to do,
and she wanted
to go with dignity in her own terms. I think that was the whole, like, it was always on her terms. And will it probably haunt her? Would have haunt me every day? Like, should I have not? I think you have to evaluate that you spent all this time with this lady, and you know she's not a dumb lady. She knew what it's always been on her terms. So why would who am I to take that from her? And, towards the end of the show, that revelation of Monique, did you see it coming? The connection?
No, I thought that it was going to be some sort of husband or no. This was my original thinking. I thought that her child, it was going to be some disconnect that she had with her child, and that the child never knew who her mom was or never wanted to talk about her mom being Evelyn Hugo, and that was the daughter, which was not the case.
No. So I knew there was during the whole book, we know that there's a reason why Monique has been chosen to write the book. She's telling her, and you don't know what the connection is until the end. And it turns out because Harry, Evelyn's great friend, was in a relationship with another man secretly. They both got drunk, crashed, and eventually both of them, passed away due to the crash. However, when Evelyn found them at the crash site, she took Harry out of the car
to try to save him
and left the other man. Not only that, but switched him to the driver's seat. So this man passed away, and the report was that he was the drunk driver. Turns out that man had a child, and that is Monique. And it was her way of repaying, my biggest fault. I let that man die because I only cared about Harry. When that revelation, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, wow, I could really hear you.
I heard that. I thought it was gonna be a connection to Luisa. Luisa was her housekeeper that was for years, that stayed with them during all her secret affairs with Celia when she was married to Harry, and Celia was married to her husband, but they were obviously each other's beards.
Yeah.
Luisa never exposed them. She was always there taking care of it. However, when they had to go to Europe, she had stay. So she lost that housekeeper, and I thought it was a way to repay her housekeeper through all the years.
Yeah, I feel like because of when her mom would ask questions like, "Oh, Evelyn Hugo," in fascination, she never knew her. That was kind of a hone in on me. Okay, they have no connection whatsoever. This is a relationship that is just kind of. What is it? And I thought it was interesting. I think the reaction to that being her father was so quick, and we already went through the whole thing that there wasn't enough character development with Monique. We don't know anything about Monique. If they make it a TV show, I think that they will work on making her character development for her aside from Evelyn Hugo. But I know it's all about Evelyn Hugo, but I think I would have liked a little bit more in-depth character,
or at least seen the struggle of Monique, how her life has been impacted because she doesn't have a father her whole life. Because
it just kind of that kind of conclusion just felt so
I didn't even know you were close with your dad. You're mad that he had a secret life.
Climactic, and then the reaction was so swift that it was like, okay. That's why I didn't rate it a whole 5, because that was just the kind of part that felt like loose ends. But let's get into the casting, because we did mention that it is being adapted. We're just not sure if it's a movie or book.
A series.
A movie or a series.
Yeah.
I would personally love a series because it would be so cool. Every kind of episode.
It's such a good. I heard it again. It's such a good.
Okay, I think it's the wiring.
Oh, okay.
We can just hear ourselves differently.
Hey, yeah. I think it's just a good.
Whoa. I love that we're both hearing it at the same time. I know,
it's so trippy. There's something with the mic, but I just think it's the best way would be a series. It's a story. It's a
absolutely.
Story.
And series are so much the thing right now. It would be great. But who do you envision as Miss Evelyn Hugo?
I actually, now reading it, I had seen the actresses that were being tossed up there in the list. I really like. I was gonna say Evelyn Hugo. Isa Gonzalez as Evelyn.
Yes.
I haven't really thought about Celia. I don't care. And I like Ana Brenda. She's the Dynasty. She's a Mexican soap opera. She's actually from Texas, but she became really famous in Mexico, and then she became an actress here, and she was in the Dynasty show reboot.
Okay.
I think she would be great. However, Isa Gonzalez just looks like her.
Throughout reading the book, I was thinking of Asa Gonzalez as the person, but there were moments where I'm like, I don't know, like, I could see a little bit of Anna de Armas.
I do too, but I don't think she'd take it just because blonde might be too similar.
True. Same blonde cut hair. I would honestly like an original.
I would also like
fresh and new taking the role. Another one. I don't think she would do it though.
Selena Gomez was also on the list of people that possibly already got the script. I don't see it.
Now that I've read it, I don't see it. That Ziegler chick, the one that came out in
Rachel Ziegler.
Rachel Ziegler.
I don't.
Too young.
Not. Like, she's beautiful, but she doesn't give bombshell, bada boom, bada boom. She gives beautiful classic beauty, but not like, oh.
So for my Celia, because I kind of like just looked at fan suggestions, I personally think Phoebe Denor, I don't know
how to pronounce her last name. She's a girl from Bridgerton.
The girl from Bridgerton, season 1, the redhead. And I always forget that Celia is a redhead. I literally always forget it. I think she would be great. The thing with Celia, she needs to look not innocent, but like more homely. Not homely, but just more
girl next door.
Girl next door, serious actress.
Like cute,
kind of
pretty.
Vibes.
Yeah.
Like you don't expect anything from her. Whereas Evelyn is obviously a bombshell. She needs to have that bombshell energy. I feel like Phoebe has that very like toned down, serious actress
classic
kind
beauty.
of vibe. Also, Saroshin.
The Irish girl
that comes out in all those movies. Lady Bird.
Yeah,
all those. People have thrown her around for Celia, but I think she looks too serious.
But I also think it's like her vibe. But I think she might be too famous to be not the main character.
Yeah,
in a like personal like.
Do you think Celia is a main character? I
think she's a supporting character.
Oh, supporting, but I think that she is a high caliber character in the story. So I think they're gonna get
I could see like Dakota Fanning.
Oh, that'd be interesting. I would see more Elle Fanning, maybe.
Okay, yeah. She might be too young for the older version.
True.
Well,
they're definitely gonna have to cast for like.
Different. Groups. Yeah, so that's another thing.
That's gonna be the challenge.
So, just last question: what celebrity would you want to interview?
Okay, living or living and dead? Living or dead? Okay. I was always in love with Audrey Hepburn. So I would love to sit down, have a chat, tell me about your life. I think that would be interesting.
I feel like mine's very basic, but Marilyn Monroe, like.
Oh yeah, Marilyn Monroe.
She probably is like the Evelyn Hugo. I'm not saying that she had she had to do what she had to do.
See, I wonder like in writing this book, obviously Marilyn Monroe, huge bombshell, huge person to write off of. I totally think it was like a Evelyn, Audrey Hepburn. That's how the actresses. That's how I envisioned them back in the day.
The author said it's like 3 actresses inspired her. One of them was Ann Taylor.
Ann Taylor.
Yeah, she had like a lot of husbands.
Cleopatra. Yeah. What's her name? She has a first and then Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, I said
Elizabeth Taylor.
Elizabeth
yeah.
Taylor.
1,000% Elizabeth Taylor. Yeah, I totally see that. And if we're talking about today, I wouldn't mind talking to Taylor Swift, asking her about all of, like her life. Like I think it'd be so fascinating.
I could see Taylor doing something like this, like writing a book and then be like, release it when I'm dead.
Yeah, I think Evelyn should be Taylor and Celia should be Carly Claus.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
That's a wrap of our 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Our April book, and really quickly, let's
announce our May book, guys, because we need to start reading this.
Boom! We're going back to a memoir verse. We are going to be reading, and I am not saying this. Okay, this is the name of the book title. I'm Glad My Mom Died, from Jeanette McCurdy. This book came out last year and made the headlines, obviously, because of what she dives into. I guess I can... Yeah, it's just basically about her life as a child star, the abuse, et cetera, that she experienced as that. So that is our book for May.
Yay.
You can pick it up at your local Targets or on Amazon. That's where I found it.
Store near you.
Yeah.
So
if you, okay, tip really quick. If you do go to Target, make sure you get the app, because if you have the app, just tell them for a price match. They also do that with Amazon. If you show them how much something's priced at Amazon, they will price match that for you. So do not spend more than you need to. Got this baby for $17.
Nice.
Or $19.99 with tax and everything. But yes, guys, that is our book for May. We will be back in June to recap it for you.
Yay.
Woohoo. All right. Well, gosh darn it.
Thanks for joining us.
Sorry, Yos. Let me start this from the beginning. How embarrassing.
Oh,
okay.
Brenda. It's okay. She rarely does this. This is like the first time, and we're in episode 29, so it's all forgiven.
All right, guys. That is all our time, but make sure you have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.